This is Murder in the Morning with Tony Bruschi and Stacey Cole.
I'm Tony Bruschi. Thanks for joining us. Stacey is off today. We're going to be digging into the topic of who is Bryan Kohberger. We're going to do that by digging into his writings as a teenager in some online forums. These are the visual snow posts that we've talked about quite a while back when it was first discovered many years ago. What we're first going to do in our first segment is I'm going to read some of the more notable posts that are out there, verbatim, in his own words. These are how he described how he was feeling as a teenager at the time that he wrote these. It's going to be interesting to see. This is around 2009 when he was posting these. So if we get out the old handy calculator, we can figure out how old he was. Yes, math in my head has failed me many a times. So he's 30 now. 2009 was 16 years ago. He would have been about 14, 15 at the time of these posts, if we're estimating correctly, and this is, in fact, him. And all signs pretty much do point to that this is, in fact, him. But we'll just say alleged, and let's put that going forward to everything in this story, so I don't have to say it 500 times. This is all alleged, based on solid information. So here we go. We're going to read through these posts, and in our next segment, we're going to analyze it. We're going to break it all down and see if this stuff ties together into what might be the mindset of a murderer. He's accused of these crimes. He talks about some very disturbing ways of looking at things, disturbing ways that his mind's working, and he's realizing it in real time at a very young age. Many years before these crimes took place. And in no way am I saying, was he plotting this murder back then? No, this is about him trying to figure out what the hell was going on with himself at that moment in time. And unfortunately, it appears he did not find a solution. So, to begin with, and I want to hear your voice in the comments. Tell me what your thoughts are on all of this, how this reads to you, how this sounds to you, in a civil way, in a way that expresses an accurate opinion, and you can back it up. That's all I ask. No, just, he's innocent, he's guilty, he's a killer, he's not a killer, he's being railroaded. It's like, this. Okay, that's great. Why? Back it up. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear it. Be sure to press subscribe as well wherever you're listening to this. If it's on the podcast platform or if it's on YouTube, press subscribe so you don't miss any of our coverage of this case and the many that we cover for you right here at the Hidden Killers Podcast and True Crime Today. Okay, so this is one of the larger posts that he made. This is his words, allegedly. I've had this horrible depersonalization go on in my life for almost 2 years. I almost find myself making simple human interactions, but it is as if I'm playing a role, playing games such as Oblivion. I'm reading this verbatim, by the way. I can see what is going on. I'm slightly into it, but I can pause the game and focus on my real life. In this case, my life is the game, and my old self can be reached by pausing the game. But how? I often think of things that humans do, things I have done my whole life. I feel like an organic sack of meat with no self-worth, as I'm starting to view everyone as this. Everything I have ever done makes no sense. How did things get this way? How am I wearing this shirt, and who decided that humans shall wear shirts like this? Are we all just advanced animals with possession? Or is there more that I can't see? I can't connect. I view everything as I would if I was playing Oblivion, pointless and full of nothing, out of reality. I'm moving out of my house. My last holidays were already lived. But where was I? As my family group hugs and celebrates, I'm stuck in this void of nothing. Feeling completely no emotion, feeling nothing. I feel dirty, like there's dirt inside my head, my mind. I'm always dizzy and confused. I feel no self-worth. I'm intelligent, but I feel the opposite. I say things I don't mean. The last holiday in my house, the house I grew up in, the house I once contributed to, the house I once felt at home in, is past. As I hug my family, I look into their faces. I see nothing. It's like I'm looking at a video game, but less. I feel less than mentally damaged. It is like I have severe brain damage. I'm stuck in the depths of my mind where I have to constantly battle my demons. Am I here or am I fake? I feel myself slipping away. I hear screams faintly, but I constantly battle away from it. What if I let go? Where would I be? Would I ever come back to reality? I try to remember where I originated from, but I can't. I barely remember my childhood. I often fear being 80 years old alone, having faint memories of my parents, everything I missed out on. I think about my father, what a good man he is, how I treat him like dirt because I have this condition, and I can't take it. I might spiral out of control and lose myself in the void. I can't let it all go. All of these regrets I predict for my future self. All of these thoughts of remorse. I got this when I was in my stage of discovery. Now, I look in the mirror and I see this sickly, tired, useless, and stupid man in the mirror. He is a complete disgrace. He doesn't even deserve to live. I remember when I was 15. Okay, so I guess he's older than 14 here. I would wander alone at 2 a.m. Everything was so generic. Nowhere felt like home. I saw things that were not there, a different reality. I felt eerie and alone. I died during those nights. I felt like a criminal. There was my record. I can't talk about flinching now. I used to be this healthy, blonde-haired boy with blue eyes, and in a few years I have darker hair and darker eyes, half the body weight. Where did I leave off? I try to sleep. I try to clear my head, but the pressure won't go away. The pain and depression won't leave. Being me is this horrible disease that I was given. I think of this as I succumb to sleep, but I see a large intensity of black, yellow, white fuzz. It makes my mind fizzle, and I can barely keep in the bounds of reality. It is as if the ringing in my ears and the fuzz in my vision is simply all of the demons in my head mocking me. I fall asleep, but I wake up quickly to bloody screams. Is any of this here? Am I brain damaged? No. Then why am I like this? I have these thoughts all in my head. I search for someone to relate to me. Everyone looks down upon me. No one can relate. As I try to read, suddenly my eyes look right through the words. When I look up, I see blue dots near the center of my vision. When I feel slightly calm, it gets hard to breathe, and I see bright dots in my vision. Nothing I do is enjoyable. I am blank. I have no opinion. I have no emotion. I have nothing. Can you relate? I always feel as if I am not there completely. Depersonalized, mentally. I experience fog. Lack of comprehension at some times. Feel like my life is a movie. Depersonalization. Depression. No interest in activity. Constant thoughts of suicide. Crazy thoughts. Delusions of grandeur. Anxiety. Poor self-image. Poor social skills. No emotion. I feel like nothing has a point to it. When I get home, I am mean to my family. This started when VS did, Visual Snow. I felt no emotion. Along with the depersonalization, I can say and do whatever I want with little remorse. Everyone hates me pretty much. I am an asshole. I can't remember anything recent or anything from childhood. I used to be able to remember everything from my childhood and everything every day for a month before me. Now I'm just a blank soul living in the snow or living in the now. What hurts the most is knowing that every time I try to remember things from my past, I can't. And my mind is so hung up with visual snow, all the migraines and the visual snow effects mentally, the buzzing in my ear that I can't even focus on that. I got it September 21st of last year. And ever since then, I have been depressed. I can't remember anything at all, and I always have this horrible pressure in my head. My mind is never not on visual snow, and I always wonder what a normal person would be doing while I sit there and suffer. This whole thing has made me crazy. I feel like my life is pointless because people can think about times with parents and childhood memories and be happy. And I won't be able to. That's the alleged writings of Bryan Kohberger when he was a teenager. We tried to put an age on that earlier. Let me see if there's... No, it says 09. So we're going to say around there. 15, 16-ish. He was remembering when he was 15. So I'm assuming 16 or so. I think that'd be a safe guess to go on, or at least, an average time when he was writing these things. What's your thoughts on all that before we get into our next piece? We're going to break all of that down. Obviously, that doesn't make him a murderer. But it certainly, if this is him, is a piece to the puzzle. Because if you're trying to figure out if he did it, which to me is not all that hard to figure out, I'm always going on the why. What makes someone do something so extreme? If it's him. Well, if he can't feel anything, and this is all those traits that he just described are very, very common in serial killers and people who do what he's alleged to have done. Like, a lot of them. Like, high percentages. He doesn't have empathy. He's noticing that. He doesn't feel emotions for other people. He refers to them as sacks of meat. If you see people as sacks of meat and you can't put any sort of value to them because your brain's not working right, guess it can make you a little more able to carry out a crime like this if you so wanted to. It's sad. I mean, it really is sad to see someone realize this all these years before this ever happened and feel so helpless. I mean, this version of Bryan, you really do feel for. We're all trying to discover ourselves at that point in life and figure things out. And there's a lot of confusion, but to not have the empathy, then you can't learn, you can't grow if that's not there because you have no self-reflection. And you get stunted and you get stuck. I'm going to guess by the time he was older, in his late 20s, when this crime allegedly took place, he already seems to be making peace with it here. I wonder how at peace he was with it at that point in time and what he was capable of doing. It doesn't look positive for Bryan Kohberger, I'll tell you that much. Not saying any of that makes him a killer, but in our next piece, we're going to break it down further, and we're going to connect some dots and see where that takes us. Press subscribe wherever you download podcasts so you don't miss any of this conversation and the coverage that we have for you here on the Idaho murders and the case against Bryan Kohberger. If you're on YouTube, press subscribe there. And again, please leave your comments. And hey, if you're on YouTube, subscribe to the podcast so you can listen wherever you go. You don't have to be on YouTube all the time. And if you're on the podcast, check out YouTube and our channel there, Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi. All of our videos are up there. You can watch us doing the show. And there's usually a lot of graphic elements now, too. So, vice versa. Subscribe in both places, if you will. There's a lot more to come on this. That's coming up in our next segment. Stay with us.
Want to stay on top of the latest true crime cases? Press subscribe now and never miss a breaking update from the Hidden Killers podcast and True Crime Today.